Confederation of Teachers. Public institutions, which serve 80% of the nation's students, are chronically short of funding and basic resources. Higher education has evolved, even at major research universities, into vocational training, no longer a vehicle for learning, but economic mobility. The assault sees elite schools, where tuition can run over $80,000 a year, cater to the wealthy and the privileged, locking out the poor and the working class. The current academy functions primarily to replicate an increasingly inequitable status quo. It is hard to imagine how it could be restructured to serve a more democratic purpose without external pressure for something like universal free higher education, Schrecker writes. Totalitarian societies do not teach students how to think, but what to think. They churn out students who are historically and politically illiterate, blinded by an enforced historical amnesia. They seek to produce servants and apologists who conform, not critics and rebels. Liberal arts colleges, for this reason, do not exist in totalitarian states. PEN America has documented nearly 16,000 book bans in public schools nationwide since 2021, a number, PEN writes, not seen since the Red Scare McCarthy era of the 1950s. These books include titles such as The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, The Color Purple by Alice Walker, and Maus, the graphic novel on the Holocaust by Art Spiegelman. The most important human activity, as Socrates and Plato remind us, is not action, but contemplation, echoing the wisdom enshrined in Eastern philosophy. We cannot change the world if we cannot understand it. By digesting and critiquing the philosophers and realities of the past, we become independent thinkers in the present. We are able to articulate our own values and beliefs, often in opposition to what these ancient philosophers advocated. A capacity to think, to ask the right questions, however, is a threat to totalitarian regimes seeking to inculcate a blind obedience to authority. Unconscious civilizations are totalitarian wastelands. They replicate and embrace dead ideas, captured in José Clemente Orozco's mural, The Epic of American Civilization, where skeletons in academic robes bring forth baby skeletons. Before they seize power and establish a world according to their doctrines, totalitarian movements conjure up a lying world of consistency, which is more adequate to the needs of the human mind than reality itself, in which, through sheer imagination, uprooted masses can feel at home and are spared the never-ending shocks which real life and real experiences deal to human beings and their expectations. Hannah Arendt writes in The Origins of Totalitarianism, "The force possessed by totalitarian propaganda, before the movements have the power to drop iron curtains to prevent anyone's disturbing by the slightest reality the gruesome quiet of an entirely imaginary world, lies in the ability to shut the masses off from the real world." As bad as things are, they're about to get much worse. The nation's educational system is being dragged into the slaughterhouse, where it will be dismembered and privatized. The corporations profiting from the charter schools system and online colleges, whose primary concern is certainly not with education, replace real teachers with non-unionized, poorly trained instructors. Students, rather than being educated, will be taught by rote and fed the familiar tropes of authoritarian playbooks, paeans to white supremacy, national purity, patriarchy, and the nation's duty to impose its virtues on others by force. This mass indoctrination will not only ensure ignorance, but obedience. And that is the point. That was Trump's War on Education, written by Chris Hedges, narrated by Eunice Wong. For the Chris Hedges Report, chrishedges.substack.com.